Okay, I'm about to make rum cake. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start out with my wet ingredients. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add 1/4 of a cup of milk, whole milk, that's at room temperature. 1/4 of a cup of whole milk. One third of a cup of sour cream. I'm gonna add 1/3 of a cup of sour cream. One-third of a cup of Daisy sour cream. I'm just putting it in my measuring cup and I'm just stirring it around so it adds up to 1/3 of a cup perfectly. One-third of a cup of sour cream. I'm gonna add to my milk 1/3 of a cup of sour cream. One-third of a cup of sour cream. And then I'm just going to incorporate this in a little bit. Incorporate my sour cream with my milk. Then I'm going to add 1/3 of a cup of Bacardi Gold rum. Yeah, 1/3 of a cup of Bacardi Gold rum. One-third of a cup of Bacardi Gold rum. I'm going to mix that in, incorporate that. Incorporate that. Incorporate that a little bit. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this mixture into a separate container. Then I'm going to clean out this bowl. Okay, I cleaned out this bowl and I've added this to a separate container. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 2 sticks of butter and I'm going to cream 2 sticks of butter. I'm going to cream 2 sticks of butter. And I'll let these sticks of butter sit for maybe 15 minutes, 15 or 20 minutes, so that they will come to room temperature. All right. All right. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cream my butter until it's like a margarine-like consistency. So it's a margarine-like consistency. There must be a ghost in here. That bowl is moving by itself. There must be a ghost in here with me. All right, that's cream. That's margarine, no lumps. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 2 egg yolks. That ghost was trying to help me out. It was bringing the bowl closer to where I needed to be. 2 egg yolks plus 3 whole eggs. Yep, two egg yolks, just the yolks plus 2 whole eggs. Then I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of my homemade vanilla extract. Made from Madagascar vanilla beans. See, these vanilla beans are from Madagascar. Fresh Madagascar vanilla bean. There's a separate video for that. 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. Then I'm going to cream this together, cream my ingredients together. Just a little bit. So now I'm going to add 1 3/4 cups of sugar, of just white sugar. Got 1 3/4 cups of white sugar. my egg mixture, to my egg sugar mixture, and incorporate all that in there. And now I'm going to mix everything, incorporate everything in there. Yep, just mix everything in, incorporate everything. So now I'm going to pour in my milk sour cream mixture. Pour this into my mix. I'm going to incorporate that. Now I'm going to set I'm going to set this aside, and I'm going to take, I have 2 1/4 cups of cake flour. So what I'm going to do is, to this cake, 2 1/4 cups of cake flour, I'm going to add 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. One and a half teaspoons of baking powder. 1 teaspoon. Half a teaspoon. 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. Then I'm going to add half a teaspoon of salt. Half a teaspoon of salt. Then I'm going to add 1/4 of a teaspoon of baking soda. 1/4 of a teaspoon of baking Arm & Hammer baking soda. Level that off as best I can. 1/4 of a teaspoon of baking soda. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to evenly distribute and incorporate everything. And now I'm just going to add my dry ingredients to my wet ingredients very slowly. Very slowly. Add my dry ingredients to my wet ingredients. Very gradually and very slowly. And what I've done is I've already preheated my oven to 350 degrees. Already preheated my oven to 350. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my bundt cake pan. I'm gonna take my bundt cake pan, and I'm gonna take some vegetable shortening, and I'm gonna coat it with I'm gonna coat my bundt cake pan with vegetable shortening. Give it a nice even coat of vegetable shortening all the way around. Give it a nice even coat of vegetable shortening all the way around. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my cake mix to it. Add my rum cake mix to it. Distribute it evenly. Get as much of the batter out as I can. I'm going to distribute this evenly. And I'm going to bake this at 350 degrees for 50 minutes. Okay, so while the cake is heating, while the cake is baking in the oven, I'm going to make, now I'm going to make the rum, or I'm going to make the glaze. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add one and a half cups of sugar to my pot that I've already put on medium heat, and I've been letting it heat up on medium heat. So I'm going to add 1/2 cups of sugar to my pot. Then I'm going to add 1/2 cup of brown sugar to my pot. Then I'm going to add 1/2 cup of brown sugar to my pot. You know, 1/2 cup of Domino's light brown sugar to my pot. Okay, then I'm going to add 1/4 cup of heavy cream. One-fourth of a cup of Upstate Farm heavy cream. Then I'm going to add 1/4 cup of Bacardi Gold rum. 1/4 cup of Bacardi Gold rum. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to incorporate and whisk all my ingredients together. whisk all of my ingredients together. And now I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of my homemade vanilla extract. Made with Madagascar vanilla beans right there. 1 teaspoon of my vanilla extract. Then I'm going to add one stick of unsalted butter to this pot. I'm going to melt this 1 stick of unsalted Land O'Lakes butter into this pan. I'm going to melt it into the pan. Yep, I'm going to melt it into the pan. It's a lovely color. Look at that color. Smells wonderful too. So I'm going to give that some time to melt. Okay, so what I did was I allowed the butter to melt inside the glaze. As you can see, it's almost completely melted. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bake. I'm going to cook this for another 2 minutes. I'm going to cook it for another 2 minutes exactly and bring it to a boil. As you can see, it's starting to boil. I'm going to keep stirring it for about 2 minutes. Yeah, I'm going to stir it and let it boil for about 2 minutes. Oh, this smells amazing. This smells totally amazing. Let it boil for 2 minutes. So you bring it to a boil while I'm stirring it for about 2 minutes. For 1 minute and 30 seconds is good. Another 20 seconds will be good because you don't want to roast the sugars. About another minute and 30 seconds. Another 10 seconds. All right, now I can take it off the heat. And as soon as my bundt cake comes out of the oven, I can put this on it. This is the glaze, and that's what you want. That's your rum cake and glaze.